everyone, it's Holly, and I am going to be making some pink sea salt soaps today. They're going to be scented in grapefruit and orange essential oil. Oh, so good. It smells amazing and cheerful. So since I'm using essential oils, I am going to use some white kaolin clay. So I want to go ahead and get that in. I'm just going to do about a heaping tablespoon. And the kaolin clay is said to help anchor essential oils. I do think it works. Let's blend that in. Now, sea salt soaps are a very spa type, luxurious, very dense, creamy lather type bar. A lot of my customers love them because they stay hard for so very long. They're mildly exfoliating. With the fine salt that I use, that's not, a big deal, the exfoliation, but it is mildly exfoliating. It smooths down to like a stone. It's not sharp. In my experience, if you have super sensitive skin, you may feel differently. Now, to make these soaps, we use a high percentage of coconut oil. Now you're probably like, well, gosh, lady, you've told me over and over, don't use a high percentage of coconut oil. Okay, that's true. But we need the coconut oil to counteract the salt because the coconut oil soap will lather still in the presence of salt. There's some history that goes back to bathing in the ocean, etc. So to counteract that though, we increase our superfat. So normally I use a 6% superfat. In this batch, it's a 20% superfat. And that's a very important part. So that means we have more oil hanging out in the final bar than what is binding directly with the lye solution. So that's how we get away with that scenario. Now I also have cocoa butter and castor oil, and I do always share this recipe because it was generously shared with me at the very beginning, and so I like to share it. It's nothing amazing, really. I mean, there's only so many ways you can make a salt soap. So this is 80% coconut, 10% castor, and 10% cocoa butter. We use a 20% superfat on it. And I use pretty full water. I'm using 30% lye concentration. That's different than water as percent of oils. Let's put in the coconut milk while I speak to you further. This is a pretty small batch because the salt is going to make up 50% of it. So I don't actually use a lot of coconut milk. I'm stirring here, trying to remember what I was going to say because I sure don't remember it. It just like dropped off. I think I was just going to say that I am sharing the recipe, but this is not a tutorial. I don't intend it to be as such. If you're an experienced soap maker or have done a lot of research, you'll start understanding all of these terms. So the size batch I'm making does not have any influence on anything. The percentages are what you need to know, and so you need to study Soap Calc. That's a really good one. Wholesale Supplies Plus has a good one. Just go ahead and start working it out because you're going to need to know those things. All right, so we're going to add in the lye solution. Now, the salt soaps can be a little bit tricky because the coconut oil is a hard oil, which means it is solid at room temperature. So if we soap too cool, I'm at room temperature today, which is around 70, but my oils are just a hint warmer than I normally would work with. So if we go ahead and just let this cool for too long and everything's room temperature, it might solidify and cause a false trace. So it can be a little tricky. So we also are going to need it to be thick enough to suspend the salt, but not so thick that we can't pour it out. So it's, it's a thing. I'm going to go ahead and add in my blend here. We have some grapefruit and orange essential oils, so they're very bright. And this is going to be just a light yellow bar probably in the end. So now I'm going to go ahead and put in this salt, and I just have some pink sea salt. I go with the fine. And I do equal parts. So this is 50% soap, 50% salt. So this is the stage where I don't want to blend it a whole bunch. I just need to go with the flow. And when it's thick enough that it starts suspending, like right now I can feel that most of it's in the bottom. When it's thick enough that it starts suspending, then I will start pouring. Alright, so it seems to be suspending quite well, but I am going to stir it as I go. I'm trying to decide where the first place I should go. See, now I look at it that it's not actually salty coming out the pour spout, so definitely have to be careful about that. There, that looks, yeah, that's good. It is definitely the easiest to pour it like this a little earlier on. In the end, I'll be probably scooping with a spoon, which I don't find amusing. I do like to stir it every now and again. Smells so amazing. It's very cheerful. Sea salt soaps can be very difficult to cut, so I like to make them in individual molds. I do have some on the channel of putting them in a loaf, but individual molds really are the easiest. They solidify, harden up so quickly that if you do make it in a loaf, you'll have to cut it in a pretty quick turnaround time. Now I do recommend a silicone mold on a tray. That way you can easily tap it and move it. I could not move this on its own. I do not remember where these molds came from. I kind of feel like they were Amazon, but also kind of feel like I got them from Wholesale Supplies Plus in the olden days. I'm really not sure. Sea salt soaps are not recommended if you have cuts on the skin. They're not going to be for sensitive skin, facial skin, mucous membrane. That means your special parts. And you know, you just want to be very careful about where you're using these types of a soap. But people love them. So then I just have some little molds here that I'm going to fill up and try to make sure I have sample labels ready, because it does make quite a bit of these extra ones. I probably should decrease my batch just a little bit. But I also like being able to have these extras because I don't do a lot of samples of the salt soaps in general. So if I can amp it up a little bit, the more people can try them. Okay, so here we have the sea salt soaps. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let them set for a while, and then I will spritz with the alcohol. I have more of these trays that I will invert over top of them, and then I will cover with towels so that they can hopefully go through a gel process. It's even better if you can put a heating pad down underneath them, and that'll help push it through. But I'm going to let these set for a few days, and then I'll be back to unmold. Alright, so it is time to unmold these sea salt soaps, and they look so good. They smell, oh my gosh, knock you over amazing. If you like citrus scents, wowza. This is so very good. They smell amazing. I'm very excited. I want to lay them out on my tray here. But I don't know what's happening with my paper. It's like it has come alive over here. I don't usually have my paper so odd. So I'm going to have to just set them on the corners, I guess. And this is why I like the silicone. It's just so easy to unmold them. Look how smooth that bottom is. Nice. I love the pink salt. Look how the pink salt is just giving it a smidgen of speckly color. That is fantastic. So I was talking with my friend over at Archer and Alex, and apparently these molds are from Amazon. So I will try to put a link because they are really quite amazing. They're just a nice size. I think they'd be great for like a shaving soap. I don't know, maybe it would be too big to fit in like a cute cup if one made a shaving soap, but they're good molds. I really like them. Love that pink salt. So these are just the prettiest little bars. Wonder what their weight is going to be. Let us check. I have reordered since the last time I filmed, so I had to see where to find my stuff. So pre-cure, they need to cure and lose some weight. They will evaporate excess moisture, etc. So right now they're 4.75 ounces. Whoa. But those will cure down. It'll be interesting to see what their final weight ends up being. I do have some others that have been curing for quite some time. I guess we could check those out. So these ones have a good 3 to 4 weeks cure time ahead of the other ones. Just the timing of when I was able to get things made. These are still weighing 4.75 ounces, so that's interesting. But anyway, they're such a nice bar. The others that I usually made were squares, and boy, they're clunky, and I just think they're too difficult to deal with. And don't you just love the pink salt? It's just so beautiful. Now this one, and I may have mentioned it in the making, I don't remember, so I apologize if this is a repeat, but this is rosemary and mint, peppermint and spearmint, I think. I feel like there's something else. I will have to tack that in. The sea salt soaps tend to like a little longer cure. So I try for around 2 months for these. It usually works out. Sometimes the 2 months will be about the time it gets to you. But for the most part, people still say the 4 to 6 is fine on these. But I just think a little longer cure for sure is good for these. Oh, they're so pretty. I love these. I just love these round bars. So I want to get back into making more sea salt soap. So you have to tell me what scents you're loving. I want to make a berry one. I've made berry. And I do think it's time to get some more lemon rose water made. I will have to get some supplies for that. So then we have these cute little paws. Oh my gosh. Those are too cute. They get me every single time. I just love them so very much. They are just adorable. So let's kind of move over there. So these are going to be great little samples, or maybe I'll just put them on and sell them as little smaller ones. We'll see. Because they are a nice hefty, not little hefty, that's funny. But they are a decent size scenario here. And they just, too cute. Too cute. I thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I ask that you will give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. I love chatting with you. That just all helps with the algorithm, so I can just keep on keeping on. I hope that you have an epic day, and I will talk with you later.